am always joyful. Like if I get anything from you, whether it's a text, whether it's an update on my parcel, whatever it is, my heart, nje, my energy, nje, just I'm just happy, I'm just happy, Gogo. So thanks for that. Thank you for that energy, Gogo.
Welcome, welcome. So, this is a space for all things metaphysical. So, this page is intended for to be additional support, to be a support system for people who are doing prayer work, energy work, manifestation work in their lives. So, yeah, I this is gonna be quite a long video because I don't like short form content because I feel like it doesn't give you enough space and enough time to put things into context. And when things are taken out of context, you can easily be misquoted and it can easily seem like you're saying something completely different to what you're saying. So I like to give context. I like to expand on ideas. I like to expand on topics and make them clear, right? So grab something to drink, grab a snack. It makes sense to watch my clips when you have time and you're actually relaxing so that you can hear everything and we can just go through all of this. So I'm like a long form content girly. I can't do the short form thing because usually, it's better to expand upon ideas. It's better to expand upon ideas. Right? Better to expand upon ideas. Yeah. So pause, grab your drink, grab your snack. Me, I have, this is hibiscus. This is hibiscus that I'm drinking. So I have my hibiscus here, and today's topic, today I want us to discuss prayer work, right? The chakras and prayer work, or the chakra system in prayer work. And for the people who, because I know I have clients who, when I say prayer, they just feel like, oh my God, I have such a wound with that. So people who have received ideological wounding because of religious abuse, people who feel like, who get triggered by such a word. In this channel, when I'm talking about prayer, I'm talking about mantras, affirmations, and assumptions. So these are the things that you are using to get yourself into the right feeling place, right? Because in the esoteric spaces, prayer means the thing that you are doing to get yourself in the right state, because things change energetically first, and then the reflection, which is the physical reality, it shifts afterwards, right? So in order to change something, you have to change the energy around it. You have to change how it is feeling, right? So you change yourself feeling wise, and then the reflections will shift afterwards, because as above, so below. So today's topic, I want us to discuss the role of the chakras when you are doing prayer work, when you're doing energy work in your life, when you are doing inner work in your life. What does it look like, and what role does it play? So this was inspired by a case study, of course. Yeah, so me, I always have a case study because the stuff that I do is very much informed by the things that me and my clients work through, go through, growing together. So the other reason why I like working with case studies is it gives us a chance to demonstrate and apply, right? To demonstrate and apply all of these principles, because it's one thing to like understand something, but if you don't know how to apply it, then there's no point to having that knowledge, right? There's no point in having that knowledge or that understanding if you cannot apply it to improve your life. So here is the case study. So we have two case studies today to illustrate our point and to discuss. I seem to have a knack for attracting people who seem to suddenly be going through the most. The last guy I got with landed himself in legal trouble and had his account frozen. I found myself buying groceries, overusing my credit card. Please do not judge. Love makes us do crazy things. That's in my past, and his life is still a mess, but we split up long ago. This new person, we'd planned to go to a sporting event together today. Suddenly, he's going through the most at work, so much so that he's stressed to the point of feeling sick. Remember when I had the flu as a reaction to work stress and my reading spoke about a depleted solar plexus? I think he's in the same situation, completely depleted by his work situation. Not even sure how to help him because he's the super Christian types and will hear nothing about chakras and energy work. This time around, I'd like to be careful how I help partners. I'm going to assist at arm's length because once bitten, twice shy. So you can hear that this situation is loaded, right? Very, very, very loaded. So before we start breaking down all of this and getting into the application, that part now with the, I thought it was wonderful because now when we are thinking of chakras, when people are thinking about the energy wheels, they think it's this woo-woo concept, these Western concepts, that don't really have a scientific basis. So today we're going to talk about the glands, and that every single energy wheel, it has a gland linked to it. Spiritual people only, they only talk mostly about the pineal gland. They'll speak about the third eye, which is linked with the pineal gland, but there are 7 other energy centers. Each of them are linked with a particular kind of gland. So we're going to do the 4 energy centers in the lower body, because these are the ones that affect the person's life. I want to put this down. Yeah. I want to put it down so I can talk with my hands, because I like to talk with my hands. I love talking with my hands. So I want us to look at the bottom 4 energy centers, because these are the ones that help us interact with the visible world, right? The top 4, they help us interact with the spiritual world and what's happening with the metaphysical. But the lower ones, they affect our lives as we know them and as we see them. So I want us to get into that about this case study. Oh yes. First, let's start with the concept of reverse manifestation. I want to just introduce you guys to the concept of reverse manifestation. So how people understand manifestation is they want to experience something, so they call it in, right? Reverse manifestation is going top. It's like top, going from the bottom up, right? Instead of the top down. The top down is the thing that you want, and then bringing it in to the material. And then from the bottom up is looking at the reflection, and then that reflection informing what you must shift energetically. Because remember, things harden in spirit first before they reflect physically. So in order for you to change anything or adjust anything physically, you have to change your energetic body. So what reverse manifestation is, it's for people who want to materialize, but they don't really know where to begin. They're like, oh, where do I don't really want material things like that. I don't want to, how do I know what it is that I want to manifest? So you would want to go from the bottom up. So you are looking at the reflection. What is happening in your life? What is the situation with your life? What is reflecting back? And then you are then saying, oh, okay. So when you're looking at your reflection, your life as it is, where are the areas where there is lack? Where are the areas where there is abundance? Because now you will then see that, oh, there's lack here and there and there and there. So obviously, this is now where I can start adjusting. And then you then know what it is you have to work with energetically, so that your reflection in the material realm can change. So that's more like bottom, down, up, right? Instead of going from top down. So that's the concept of reverse manifestation. So here, in client's case, you would see that she's like, hey, I keep attracting people who seem to be going through the most. I helped the first guy out. It put me in some financial problem helping him out. And then this new person suddenly going through it, and I don't know how to help him because he's the Christian types. So already there are 2 things that stand out here for me. The first thing is we often attract what we are, like we are often attracting the opposite of what it is that we want. So my client here does not realize it, but she's extremely masculine. She is a masculine embodied man. So what I mean, she is a masculine embodied woman. So what a masculine embodied woman is a woman who is the problem solver, the fixer, the controller, the hey, come to your aid, like and usually, okay. So it's easier for me to illustrate this using attachment styles, right? Different attachment styles, because the anxious attachment is always going to attract the avoidant attachment, right? Because why? The avoidant mirrors the anxious. So, for example, I know this because I have done a lot of healing work on myself, because I was an anxious attachment. So the anxious attachment develops in childhood when you are not receiving the soothing that you need as a child, right? As a child, if you're not receiving that soothing, or you're not receiving that attention, or you're not receiving that human soothing, right? So what happens is you become very anxious in relationships, like you think it's going to go. So what happens is you push and 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 you push, and you like, yeah, I want this, I want that. You just push and you push and you push, and you tend to become very controlling. When a person is not texting back, you start freaking out, you start panicking, your mind goes to the worst thing, because that child inside is feeling like they are losing that warmth, or they are losing that thing that they want, or so that now is the anxious attachment. And they will attract the avoidant. Now, people who have the avoidant attachment style, they also developed it in childhood. If you have had a smothering parent, or the parent was too controlling, too involved in all areas of your life, and you just kind of like, ugh. So what they do is that soothing that they need, they go in, they withdraw, right? So now what happens is they pull away, whereas the anxious pulls in, right? So now you want to go from that anxious attachment or that avoidant attachment style. You want to move towards the secure attachment style, because then what happens is that you are able to give yourself what it is that you need, so that when a person is pulling away or they are not responding, you are not feeling like there's something wrong, or that you are losing soothing, or you are losing something, or some kind of like human interaction. You won't feel like you're losing human interaction. So client here is obviously attracting very feminine embodied men. So the feminine embodied male is a man who is comfortable with receiving. Since we attract what complements us, like how the anxious attachment style will always pull in the avoidant attachment style. It will never pull in the secure attachment style, right? It will call in the opposite of that. This means that masculine dominant women often attract feminine dominant males. The feminine dominant male is the one who wants to take without giving, right? You will think, because how the masculine dominant woman trope shows up in society is the cougar. The cougar, which is an older woman, wealthy, has everything she wants, and then the young guy, right? The young guy who wants assistance. So obviously that's feminine embodied, because one is in the dominant and then the other one is in the submissive. So you know a feminine embodied male by he needs assistance, he wants rescuing, he's a damsel in distress, comfortable with taking. So how you know that a woman is masculine embodied is that she wants to fix problems, she wants to help people, and there's nothing wrong with that, but to fix the problems of the male, like being in that problem solver role, is that she doesn't realize it, but she's in a space of provision, that she must provide him with so and so and so and so. So that is quite masculine, all right? Very, very, it's masculine embodiment. Because feminine embodiment is more nurturing, right? But masculine embodiment is, let me fix his life, let me fix his problems, her feeling compelled to fix things. Very much masculine embodiment. Now, with this masculine embodiment, in order for you to understand why this is harmful to her in the long term, I am going to illustrate now the energy centers and how energy flows from one point to another one. Because if I just say it like this, it's just going to sound like, ooh, one of those metaphysical concepts that can't really be applied in practical ways, okay? So we're going to start here with the top, which is the heart chakra. I'm going to go to the heart, the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root last, okay? So I'm just going to explain them like that so that everything will make sense. We're going to go from the top down. Here we are. This is the heart chakra, right? It is green. Now, with the heart chakra, it is more developed in women. It is bigger in women than it is in men, okay? And the heart chakra is linked with the thymus gland. The thymus gland releases oxytocin. Oxytocin, which is a bonding hormone, right? Releases oxytocin. Here you are receiving the release of oxytocin, immune stimulating hormones, and other growth hormones, right? So this is the heart plexus, right? So what it does is it affects your ability to feel and to process emotions. So us as females, we are usually identified as the moody ones, the emotional ones, the catching feelings ones, right? Oxytocin is how we bond. We bond through oxytocin. Oxytocin gets released when a woman is extremely happy. It makes you more forgiving. And when a woman gives birth, right, oxytocin is what helps her bond with a baby. So oxytocin is being released here by the heart. The heart is linked with the thymus gland. The thymus gland affects your ability to feel and to process emotions. And then we have the solar plexus. The solar plexus is smaller in women and bigger in men, okay? The solar plexus is more developed in men and smaller in women. The solar plexus is linked with the adrenal gland. Your solar plexus is linked with the adrenal gland, and that adrenal gland, it affects your productivity, it affects your drive, it affects your purpose. It makes you driven. This is the place of ambition. It makes you ambitious, right? These are areas of work and career and all of these things. Now, the adrenal gland, it releases adrenaline, dopamine, and cortisol. So cortisol keeps you alert. Cortisol, if people who have high cortisol levels, they can't sleep, and this is just to keep you alive, because if a lion is chasing you and a lion is on the prowl, you can't sleep, because if you sleep, you're going to be a meal, right? Now, this adrenaline, the fact that this gland is more developed in men than in women, it means that the men's capacity to experience adrenaline is bigger than it is in men, I mean in women. And we know this because the men are the ones that are jumping out of parachutes and risking their lives and being adrenaline junkies and doing all the risky things, the parachutes, and they are the adventure riders, they are the bike riders, they are the explorers, they are, and this is something that also makes men like sports so much, right? Because there is an adrenaline rush that they get from winning. Like when they win, when they accomplish something, when they achieve something, there's a high they get from that, like jumping off of a 50-story building or mountain climbing and doing all of these things. It gives them that adrenaline rush, which we as females, we don't understand, because we don't have that capacity, right? The area, that gland is not, the capacity of it is like this in women and it's like this in men, right? It's like this in men, which is why the ambition of a male ambition and woman ambition are not really the same. And doesn't mean that women don't have ambition. We know that all of us has feminine and masculine, right? And there are people that are more feminine, more, but I want to talk about that after I speak about so they get this adrenaline, pleasant adrenaline high from winning and accomplishing things and achieving and going out and hunting and winning, right? That's the adrenaline. Now we move, and remember, it releases what? Adrenaline, dopamine, and cortisol, right? Dopamine being a happy hormone. Now we move down here, which is the sacral. The sacral is more, that gland is bigger in women and smaller in men. So this is the digestive or the pancreatic gland. This is the digestive and the pancreatic gland. So the digestive gland. So what the digestive gland is, that what the digestive gland does is it affects your appetite. It affects your appetite for things that nourish and nurture you, things that nourish and nurture you and build and uplift, all of these things that are healing and balancing. So the hormones that are released by this gland releases enzymes, digestive enzymes. So those digestive enzymes, they break food down in your stomach, they break food down, and then they spread that food out through the rest of the body. So it nourishes the rest of the body. So you have a hormone balancing, balancing hormones. Hormones that balance blood sugar levels inside of the body. So this is actually a nurturer. It nurtures, right? It nurtures the rest of the body. So it's taking minerals and nutrients and moving them to the rest of the body, right? So this is caring for the rest of the body. Now, this is more developed in males than it is in women. And you see that because women are normally more nurturing than males. They are the ones that she's cooking the healthy meals. She is thinking about everybody. She is packing food, I don't know, all the things that nurturing comes in. She is caring for whatever, caring for the children, nurturing the children, feeding the children, making sure that everything is okay. So that nurturing role is here. Now, it obviously being bigger in women than in men, it doesn't mean that men cannot be nurturing. Men can be nurturing, but they do it with more effort than it would be for a woman. Meaning, for a woman, nurturing is easy, natural, it's maternal almost. You don't even have to practice or learn how to nurture. It just kind of like happens, it's like just a switch that lights on as soon as you give birth, right? You just become more nurturing. Whereas with men, they have to effort in order to become nurturing, or as nurturing as women becoming. Like, I have a cousin, right? This cousin of mine, I have a trans cousin. She is very, very nurturing. She is the one, cooking the meals, cleaning, making sure we're in a healthy, habitable space. And you never have to ask her to do any of that. She just finds it easy to just take care of people. If you are sick, she's the one coming with remedies. She's the one coming with, yo, are you good? What do you need? She'll come with this plant, that plant. So this is also another reason why a lot of females are more healers, because nurturing is healing. Healing is balancing. So when you are doing healing and balancing work or healing and alignment work, you are balancing the energy around the person. And then the minute that the energy around that person is balanced, things begin to fall into place and things begin to go well. So that comes from a nurturing place. And it's why naturally, normally in the ancient times, the healers were actually the woman. It's because their capacity to heal is a little bit better. Not that men cannot heal, they can, but it's just easier and it's just more natural when it's coming from someone with a developed plexus for it or a developed gland for it. We also know this, right? Because mothers have a very healing energy, right? Mothers have this healing energy around them. They bring balance to chaos. They bring order to chaos, like all the time, right? And then we move to the last gland, the root chakra. The root chakra. Small, bigger in men, smaller in women. And we know this with the sexual organs, because men's sexual organs jump out of the body and protruding, and then the woman's organs go in. Here with the root chakra, which is the earth field, is linked with the sexual glands, right? It's linked with the sexual glands, and the sexual glands, they affect your sexuality. They affect your sexuality, they affect your relationships. Now, with males, it's bigger in males than it is in women, because a man's capacity to survive is bigger than the woman's capacity to survive. So this is the area of survival. This is the area of securing survival. So humanity being, we are literally the most dangerous animals in the animal kingdom. Because here we are, let's start with testosterone. Men have testosterone, right? So with testosterone, this gives you physical strength. Testosterone increases muscle and body mass, right? It also just gives physique, right? And it's also the hormone for aggression and dominance. So men have 16 to 20 times more testosterone than women have. What this means is that physical labor comes easier to them. So now when a man offers to carry your grocery bags for you, it's not because they think you can't carry the grocery bags yourself. It's because in that moment he is providing you with ease, because he knows he will do it subconsciously. He knows that it's a lot easier for him than it is for you, right? Men have more physical strength than women. They are wired for it, right? Men are the ones that go out and deal with other animals, other wild animals. So when I'm saying that we as men, humanity is the most dangerous wild animal in the jungle, what I mean is that men may have 20% testosterone, and then you put more like 20% on top of that, then you get a gorilla, right? Where a gorilla has maybe like 30% more testosterone than the man. And then there's the bear, and then there's the lion. But what makes the man dangerous is that not only does he have testosterone, but he also has a brain. Because he has a brain, he has a spear. He can have a spear. He has guns. He can put the lions in a cage. He can put the gorilla in. He doesn't even have to use that testosterone because he has the brain, right? So now the male anatomy is designed to hunt, go out there and hunt. So they are hunting with other animals. They are hunting, like hunting other animals for food. So being top of the food chain, right? Because now look at these two areas that are more developed in males, right? This one, which is the place of adrenaline, that man gets an adrenaline rush from winning over another man, competing, dominating, being on top, winning on top of the lion, shooting the lion dead. It gives them, there's an adrenaline rush that comes from that, right? So now, being king of the jungle, in the sense that survival of the fittest or being on top of the food chain, it comes from that, because originally or naturally men are designed to be they are designed to be really providers, if you can put it that way. Because now I want us to talk about the bestial nature of man. We're going to talk about the bestial nature of masculinity, the celestial nature of masculinity, and the stunted nature of masculinity. But before we do that, I want to do this part. Now, here with the root center, women have estrogen and we have progesterone. So estrogen is, we are high, we're excited, we're like, yay, we're doing this life thing, we're out and about, yay, let's do this thing, let's go out and rule the world, yay, right? And then progesterone, this is that time in the month before your cycle, right? Because we have a reproductive system. So now with that cycle, what that does is, this is the time where we are the most moodiest, we withdraw, we want rest, we want nurturing. It's like a man and a woman going for a run, right? and they're like, yeah, 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 we're gonna do this 2 mile, yeah, we're gonna do this, yeah, right? And then they start running. And then as they run, halfway through, and then the woman decides, oh no, I've had enough, I'm just gonna sleep here, I've had enough, I don't want to do this anymore, I just can't, I just really like, I'm just gonna lie down here, right? And then the guy who has the same energy, he is just looking at her thinking, oh, you moody motherfucker, what happened? What happened? And he can't understand because hormonally he's one thing all throughout the month. It's just his body is producing testosterone throughout the whole month. So it's just one thing, one thing, one thing, one thing. Like if he's energized, he's gonna stay energized like that. This is who he is, right? And then the woman, estrogen, we are, yeah, let's do this. We're energized, energized, and then progesterone, we need to lie down, we need to sleep, we need rest, we need water. And then the male, he's just looking there, he's like, oh, you are so weak, right? But what's happening is that she now has these two things where there's the estrogen and then there's the progesterone, right? Now, understanding the difference between this now chemically, this is just how we are designed, it's how we are built. Men handling the survival stuff and doing the hunting and bringing the bacon and doing the whatever. It goes back to now what I said here with the nurturing, that nurturing comes more naturally to women than it does to men, although men can nurture. The same thing with survival. Women can secure survival, but we do it with 50 times more effort and energy than a man can. It's like building, it's like lifting weights, right? Testosterone makes it so that you have physical strength. Now, we don't produce testosterone naturally in our systems. You can build it up, yeah, but because we don't produce it naturally without assistance and hormone therapy and whatever else, and going to the gym, if you are not, you don't have this testosterone, it means that lifting heavy things is really hard for us. And it's easier for a man, which is why a man can kill you with such little effort. It doesn't take a lot for a man to kill you. A man can kill you with much less effort than it would take you to kill him because of testosterone. People that say, oh no, men think they're better, men think they're this. We're not built the same. We are not built the same. A woman's strength is energetic and it's metaphysical. I'm going to break this down, all these concepts properly in today's talk. And then a man's strength is physical. So now, if the man is doing the physical stuff and the woman is doing the energetic stuff, that now allows for balance where the yin and the yang are balanced. It's easier for men to do the survival thing and go out into the corporate spaces and fight with other men, and that's the concrete jungle. That is the concrete jungle. That's the concrete jungle, right? You're going because as a predator or any animal, if you were any animal in the jungle, you're not just going out there to fight against other animals and get food and eat. You're also fighting against, you're not just, it's not just prey that you're hunting for. You're also fighting for your throne or your position or your whatever. The lion, if he sees another male lion, he's going to kill the other male lion. You understand? It's within their design. So now we are in those space of reserves where obviously if all the men are killed off in a tribe, now the women have to step into the survival space, of which they obviously can, but just with more effort than it would take the man. I want to go back to the solar plexus here and link it with what's happening here with client in the case where she was going through was stress at work. She was in very high stress environments and things were really bad. And then eventually her body, she started getting sick. I want to talk about what happens there. So when we were out in the jungle, or if man was out in the jungle and something was threatening your survival, like you knew that you are being hunted down by a fox or whatever, so you have to stay alert, right? So your mind signals the release of cortisol, and cortisol is a stress hormone that keeps you alert, it keeps you up, it keeps you like on your toes. So people with high stress cortisol levels, they don't sleep very much. These are the people that have a lot of insomnia and this and that and that. It's because the hormones are just signaled to keep you alive because something is threatening you, right? In her case, there was nothing threatening her life, but work-wise, because work is linked with survival, it's like being in the jungle. Work-wise, all that stress that she was dealing with was still activating this in her body. And because now we can't be in that state for a very long time, the body starts responding physically, right? And so, which is why now it was affecting her solar plexus, which is the place of ambition and drive and productivity and work. So when we are out there and we are functioning in the world, we are operating from that solar plexus. And mind you, this is like this here with women, and it's like that with men. This is how big it is with men. And this is the size of that gland in women, right? So now it was that stress was making her sick. So then in her spread, this is basically what was coming out, that she has a very depleted, she was depleting it because she was using so much of it, right? She's competing with males, she's competing with men, she's fighting men, she's doing this, she's earning her keep because she's in a very high masculine space, high masculine career as well, right? So then it started affecting her health. So she did bounce back, and how it showed up in her life was just a flu. She just had like a flu, and we know that there are opportunistic illnesses that it's not so much that you did something to get it, but if your immune system is not strong, now you're catching on to all of these flus and the viruses and whatever else is in the air, right? So that's just what was happening there in terms of like what was her body releasing and what was causing that reaction when she spoke about it. Let me go read it again. This is when she said, remember when I had the flu as a reaction to work stress, and my reading spoke about a depleted solar plexus? I think he's in the same situation, completely depleted by his work situation. So you see that within a jungle setup, it's like she is in the jungle and she is fighting, she's hunting, she's shooting animals, and she's in the jungle. Concrete jungle. We are all in the jungle. I'm in the jungle too. We are all in the jungle, because then it's like, okay, fine, now he's dealing with work stress as well. And then she says, I don't know how to help him. He won't hear anything about chakras. He won't hear anything about energy work. So I don't know what it is that I would help him with, but I'm trying to keep my distance because the last time I helped a man, things went south, right? So that's now just the anatomy here. Now I want us to move back into the testosterone spaces, right? That the testosterone that the man has, you add a little bit of testosterone there, and now you have a gorilla, now you have a bear, right? There's no sense as a woman to be fighting a man, because men are naturally designed to be beasts. To be beasts, right? Top of the food chain, the motherfucking boss, right? He is designed to be a beast among beasts. A man who is in his healthy masculine, he is a beast among beasts. The more testosterone levels that a man has, the more easier physical activity becomes, right? So we know that gym, physical activity, that's what builds testosterone, right? Physical, stick fighting, going to war, anything that builds the physical body, that also builds testosterone. Women who go to gym as well, they also are building testosterone. So like there are other things that we use to build estrogen. Yoga, qigong, it builds estrogen, okay? But then again, there's nothing wrong with having testosterone as a woman, just so that I can throw it out there. There is nothing wrong with having testosterone as a woman. You become the MVP. Right. Anyway, now let's talk about this bestial nature, because within masculinity, we have a bestial nature and we also have a celestial nature. There's also a stunted nature, but that's for another conversation. So with the bestial nature is what helps a man in the motherfucking jungle to not be compassionate. Imagine now this guy, he is hunting for a deer, maybe. He's hunting for a deer so that people in the tribe have food tonight. So they hunt, they get the deer. Now they have to send the deer home. Now, if that man was not in his bestial nature, he'd be sitting there, oh, the deer is dead. Oh, let's bury it. Oh, let's ask for forgiveness from God. We just took a life. Let's bury him. Let's pray. Oh no, poor life, right? So the bestial nature allows him to be another animal among animals, to know that if I do not kill this lion before it reaches me, I'm going to be the one that's killed. So the bestial nature does not have any kind of compassion. But the bestial nature now in the communities, how we see it showing up in the communities is men without remorse, men who don't feel, men who don't give a fuck, men who will just, and we know in South Africa because the GBV rate is so high, men who will just kill you and put you in a fridge. That is that bestial nature coming through. Men who will kill you and bury you in the backyard and pretend that, hey, I don't know where she is, right? That is the bestial nature. The other way in which the bestial nature comes up is when a male is, let's say, for example, normal human needs, like mating is standard. Mating is standard with all animals in the animal kingdom, right? So now how the other way that we see the bestial nature in communities is, so here he is looking for sexual gratification. So he's like, all right, let me just go on the hunt. So now he goes on a hunt, and him goes on a hunt means he's going to tell you whatever you want. He thinks you want to hear. He's going to do everything just to get to what it is that he wants, right? Then in the jungle there, he mates. And then after mating, because he's detached, he doesn't give a shit. He's like, oh, sorry, you know what? Thank you, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And I know that you're pregnant right now, and you're probably not going to be able to hunt for the next 9 months, and you're probably going to need a lot of rest, and you're going to need assistance. But tough luck. I need to go and hunt. I'm really hungry. I need a snack, so I'm going to go and catch a deer. You figure out a plan. See ya, right? So that is a bestial, because I mean, he's not caring. He's not really compassionate in that instance. He's like, yo, I just want this. I'm going to get it. Bye, right? So that now is the bestial nature showing up in the communities. So this now is the reason why in the tribes marriage was created. Marriage was not a love thing between two people who love each other. It was not created with that. Marriage was created, number one, to protect woman and nature. I mean, number one, to protect women and children from the bestial nature of men. Because those men who went out to hunt for the animals came back with meat, came back with food, came back with everything. Those same people are still motherfucking animals. They are still animals. So now what happens is, as a normal female in a tribe, you don't stand a chance against that guy. You don't stand a chance. If he has handpicked you and he's like, this is what I'm going to be having tonight for breakfast, or this is what I'm going to be having tonight for dinner, that's what the fuck it is. You did not stand a chance. Number one, he's got more testosterone than you, so he can physically overpower you if he wishes, right? Number two, he is already, he's got the whole hunting for prey thing, hunting for this, hunting for that, right? So now the women in themselves didn't stand a chance, because then if there wasn't that institution of marriage, and how then a man must first court, because courtship is part of a fire plexus thing, it's a sun plexus thing, it's here with the gland, right? The adrenal gland, it's part of the gland. Courtship is part of that. So now, unfortunately, with male psychology, males just, they don't value anything that they didn't have to work for, right? So when you think about it, within the marriage, I'm just going to speak about from the black perspectives, right? Amalobola, right? That whole thing is, number one, it was designed to, the guy obviously has to prove himself to be worthy of, because now cows in the traditional setup is growing up, everything, if you prove yourself able, your dad will give you a cow, right? And if you can take care of the cow, you get another cow and another cow and another cow, which then demonstrated your ability to take care of the herd of cows in Gom, right? Now, your ability to then take care of these cows, that then demonstrates that you have a celestial nature, because the celestial nature in masculinity that we've discussed in previous videos, the celestial nature, this is the place of provision. This is divine providence. When you think of God, God is like thought of as taking care of everybody, making sure everybody has what they need. These are the fathers, the pastors, the males in the communities who are the even a gang leader is within the space of provision, because he's taking care of a lot of people. He's paying a lot of people. So that now is equivalent to taking care of people or taking care of cows. So now Lobala now proves that, okay, this person has provisional strength and provisional capacity. And you having provisional capacity then proves. And when you now do this, Uzolomola, or you're going to take a woman as your wife, it's not the wife that you're dealing with, it's the wife's brothers, the wife's father, the wife's brothers, because beasts will recognize other beasts and beasts will converge among beasts, because you will never know as a female, and we are terrible at we are terrible at judging anything. We If it was up to a woman, if it was up to women, if the decision to marry was up to women, I don't know what the world would be like. We love everybody, we care for everybody, everybody would be married. Whereas men come from a very logical space, right? They work everything out, and anyway, so he now comes in, he's proving to the beasts around this female, right? The brothers and the fathers and the uncles, that I can take care of your daughter, right? These are my provisional strengths. I have the ability and the capacity to start a family, right? And then now they will vet him out. They will, do whatever. They will then kind of like check to see that, okay, can this person really, right? Before then they then give. And then if the Lobola negotiations all go well, and then there's an agreement between the families, and then only then does he then have access to the female. Now, so because he had to jump so many loops to get to you, he had to prove himself. He had to show that he was able. He had to have the provisional strength to say, I actually can start a family. Now he is valuing the entire situation, right? He values it. He had to prove himself worthy of it, right? So now you're not in a situation where you're about to be left in the wild to fend for yourself. And also within those tribal communities and societies, this type of thing also sort of like protected, I'd say, even like Jay, the health of the bloodline, because the males who never evolve out of their bestial nature. So we're talking there about males, because when you think about the rites of passage, where men are going in Dabeni, they're going to the mountain, they're going this, they're going to, to turn them, go from boys to men, right? Turn them into men. So there, those rites of passage are there to help the male to command his predatory nature, so that his predatory nature or his bestial nature is not it's not overpowering him, because men who can't control their bestial nature, they are the ones who become the rapists, they are the ones who become the druggies, they are the ones who hurt women and children, shoot people, become problems in societies, right? Because they do not have that celestial, or they have not connected with that celestial fatherly like God provisional or universal providence that exists within all men, right? So now this is the one who's now taking care of everything, who's leading the whole family, leading the community. Now, with that, then, so because there was such a process to having a woman in your life and having a wife, what it meant is that these ones that are more bestial nature, like that person is not interested in having a wife and a family and or proving himself in the community that he's a man among men. He don't give a shit about that. He'd rather go and buy a prostitute, satisfy his need for instant gratification and move on the fuck with life. He's not trying to prove himself and be like a man. He doesn't want that, because now that is like a very fire. It's a very fire plexus, solar plexus thing, right? Achieving, accomplishment, winning, succeeding. Because now what happens is, because that's when then an anchor gets rewarded to a man. Like what it means to him is that now I have earned the right to open a new branch of my bloodline and of my family name, right? So marrying then is like getting the startup capital to start your own branch of steers or of wherever, right? And now you are able to have children. And children are such an important part of succession, because let's say you are in a relationship with so and you guys are like one part of or one thing, right? And now, if you yourself, and I like this is how Mina likes to explain it. So she's like, well, if you and your partner are like the iPhone 12, your children are the iPhone 14. Your children's children become the iPhone 15 and the 16 and the 17 and the 18. And we know this is important because look at Nokia, right? It's like a succession thing. It's like which genes are surviving, which genes are going into the future, which genes are creating impact. Like Nokia did not advance, couldn't advance, wasn't evolving, and now it's completely gone. When you think of the Nokia phone, you think of the Nokia 3310, right? Now we have Samsung and we have iPhone and we have, right? So now that now is like evolution, like that you evolving. Succession is exactly that. It's like you putting yourself into the future, right? Getting your DNA out there, like moving your bloodline forward, right? And they understood it from a metaphysical point of view, because you keep coming back into the earth based on the bloodline that who is still there. So meaning, if you are alive today and you have children, there's a higher chance of you coming back, if you choose to, coming back 3, 5 generations later or whatnot. So even how it then happened that the woman then leaves her home, is enters the male's home, and then it becomes she changes her name from the man from her maiden name to the marriage, the matrimonial, the man's surname. So meaning that she becomes a part of them. She is now extending them. In a previous video, we spoke about how masculinity is linked with divine providence, but femininity is linked with divine expansion and multiplication. So she's here to move that bloodline forward, to move that name forward, right? Because then we are understanding that the womb is then that portal between the living and the dead. How people travel from past, present, future, past, present, future. We've all traveled through a womb, right? If you are then. So yeah, so you see that the marriage in itself was created to protect the woman from a man's bestial nature, because she would not be able to protect herself from that. But it's the men in her family and in her tribe, who are actually checking, and it's like this man who now wants to come in and have a wife. He is going through the beast in her family, and they are the ones that are like, yeah, you can, or yeah, you cannot, right? So Yabana looks a lot different now in the communities that we are existing in. It's not so much a thing of it's basically it just looks very different. It's more of like before then it was just a thing of, I need to make sure, okay, I can prove that I've got provisional strength, so meaning that I can take care of this family that we are starting. If any kids come of my wife, I'm going to be fine, and I'm going to be able to. Genetically, men are wired to be beasts. They are wired to be out in the wild with other animals It's just how they are wired. And we see this with things like classism, capitalism, racism. It's actually just men fighting other men. It's men fighting with other men. Colonization is exactly that. It's a man entering from wherever saying, I want to be king of this jungle. And then now colonizes everybody else. So that would now be a lion, one lion coming in, wanting to kill all the males in that, in that class, so that he, in that tribe, so that he can be the lion, right? So a lot of it is like that is those are things that come from the bestial nature of masculinity, because then it's like, sparring with other men, going to war with other men. It's like a test of strength, a test of wit. It's like stick fighting, but like on a high level, on a very, very high level, within the king of the jungle is like the wealthiest or the richest or the. So when you think about it, then it becomes like we really are evolved, or the evolved wild animals of the jungle, and that we can fly in the skies. We have all of this technology that makes our lives easier, but we all have a bestial nature, and a celestial nature as well. Now, back to marriage. Because males have, because when we are speaking about males, testosterone gives them animalistic advantage, and adrenaline gives them that competitive thing that gives them a rush when they win something. So it means that no woman is actually safe in mating rush, because for them it's not, they don't care about no child, no whatever. They don't care what you want. They don't give a shit what you want, right? It's like, because of that, then they create these institutions around, let's then protect these women, so that the people who access these women are people that are willing to build lives with them. Because now of the cost, there is a cost to intimacy. And the second case study is going to explain that. I want to do this case study so that I can illustrate this point, because there's no way of illustrating it without an actual demonstration. So here's how it goes. Hi, Timby. I got paid today. I want to send my questions in during the course of the day once I get to work. All right. The most important question concerns the baby. I would like to understand the whole concept of them giving me a child from their perspective. I'm not going to lie. From my perspective, I'm quite frustrated and hurt, because I have been struggling. I've been struggling with aligning myself, struggling with sustaining myself, struggling generally just to survive. I don't understand nor see how it's conducive to bring a child into the picture under these circumstances. And I'm not willing to accept the notion of a child fixing all of these things, because the responsibility of the child is the last thing that will fix it. In fact, that will mean that I have a responsibility to sustain not only myself, but an entire additional life. And they know that I don't have those means right now. I don't have, not mentally, not emotionally, not financially. So I'm really trying to understand why they would allow the child spirit to cross into this realm when they can see Utigapeta already. They can see Utigapeta already. We can speak of a child as a blessing, but what quality of life will I provide such a blessing if I literally have nothing? So in the meantime, my sufferings must become this child suffering. I can bear a cross myself. I can go through hell or high water, but I don't think it's fair. Nor do I think I'd forgive myself for putting my child through the same thing. I myself was raised in failed parenthood. I'm not willing to do the same to my children. I value motherhood, and I value motherhood, and I always decided if I can't show up as a mother, then I don't want children. I don't understand why they think I'm capable of showing up as a mother. 2, in the event that I decide that I want to cross over the baby back to the spiritual realm, what would my child spirit need from me as a parent? What processes would I need to follow in order to ensure that I appease my child spirit so that she or he isn't abandoned or stranded? What is their view on such a decision, and what is the best way to approach it? The dreams. What is the purpose behind the dreams of miscarriage and dreaming of the baby's father? What is the correlation with that in my intuition? I feel like my body was rejecting this man. So how did his seed cross over? That's so crazy. So I just wonder, is there a connection between the events and him being the chosen seed for my child? Generally, going forward, what is the guidance? I have no sense of peace right now. Everything, literally every single aspect of my life is in shambles. So what does peace look like going forward? How do I achieve it? Is there anything else that you feel like I need guidance on? My one manifestation, peace and stability. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of surviving. I need them to bring me stability. And then she goes on to say, I blocked him. He's not making effort at all, not even to check how I'm doing or what I've decided. Nothing. Right? Now, this is like from questions with recorded files. I ask clients to send me questions, and then I prepare the files, and then I send them via WeTransfer, right? Just so that I can sit with the information and they can sit with the information. So I've removed everything that is personal here, or anything that is incriminating or leads to the person, just so that their identity is protected. But now do you see the cost, right? Meaning that you as a female, there's a cost that you carry, right? And I want to share this so that you can see that hookup culture is a lie. Hookup culture is a scam, okay? Hookup culture is a scam. She received nothing from this. You cannot convince me that those few seconds or minutes of pleasure with said person gave her something when she comes out of this, her health, right? For her to even be and get intimate with a male, you must know that as a female, there are many things that our health, the minute you become active, sexually active, the cost of your health, like your health costs, like contraception, right? Going in there, we do things like pap smears and all of these things that make sure that our reproductive health is in shape, right? That's something males can't relate to because they do not have reproductive health. Okay, they don't have it, so it's already like one strike against the female. Number two, there's the risk of pregnancy. The risk of pregnancy. In client's case, she now is, and she was frustrated, and she's out here blaming her poor ass ancestral guides. And they look, to be honest with you, I think it's a crazy thing. It's a crazy thing because now we cannot expect our guidance to break the laws of nature. If you do a ritual right now and that ritual is a success, like how this intimacy was a success and that it was a success because here you are, you conceived, right? We can now not expect them to now gatekeep and whatnot. Laws of nature is that there's a consequence for every single thing that you do. You cannot enter into an exam room, you did not study, and then you're like, oh, God is going to whisper all the answers to me. There's a consequence to that choice and that action. You will fail. You cannot walk into a den of lions and say, oh, God is going to save me. Oh, the ancestral guides are going to protect me. But nature, how nature is that the lion is going to motherfucking eat your crazy ass. Okay, the lion is going to eat you because what are you doing there? What are you doing? You are their food. What is supposed to happen? It's like a person being mad that a dog entered their house and crapped up. That one doesn't work. There's an example Mina has used that I really liked. She said, you can't be mad that a fox entered into your yard and ate all your chickens, right? It's what foxes are designed to do. They are there to hunt other animals and eat other animals. You understand? So meaning that what you do is you protect yourself. You protect yourself and you make sure that even if the fox does jump over the fence, it's not going to get to your chickens. Same thing happened here. Same thing happened here because we are seeing that we are dealing with a bestial male. He is a bestial male. Those ones that don't give a shit, they don't care, there's no compassion because they need that in the jungle with other animals. But up until they enter into their celestial nature when they are dealing with women, you are going to be hurt. So there is the pregnancy thing, the pregnancy risk. And now there is a cost. If she decides that she wants to terminate, there is a cost. If she decides to keep the pregnancy, there is a cost as well because for 9 whole months, she's not going to be able to work. So it affects her income. It affects her earning potential. It affects her ability to survive and provide for herself. And now the termination, that's another cost, right? She's complaining already about, hey, I'm already doing so much and I'm stressed out and I'm this and I don't like this job I'm in and all of that. And now she's in this, which is going to affect that. Then there's also a cost here because she is umuntu omoya, and we know that when these things happen, you could get rid of the physical. If you were to terminate, she would get rid of the physicality of what's already there, but energetically, she's going to have to clear that energy out, or else it starts creating problems in her auric field. So now she's also going to have to go and pay somebody who specializes in cleansings to help her clear that up. And then the fifth cost, she's here in her tarot reading. In her tarot reading, she's trying to fix a mess that was created but through being intimate with this person. She could be, that is a tarot reading that she would be using for herself to say, how can I level up? I want to sort this out. I want to bring in this. I want to fix that. You know, I want to improve my finances. I want to do this. But no, you are paying to get a tarot reading to fix the mess that this guy has left. Now, who paid the price for that intimacy? Who did it come at a cost to? Because it came at a cost. It didn't cost him anything. He got his instant gratification. He got the gratification that he needed. He got the good time. But that good time comes at a cost to her. So this means that ancient people were not stupid. They were not idiots. They were not backwards. They were not uncivilized. Okay, they were not uncivilized when they said it benefits you as a female to get intimate and have sex after you marry. It benefits you to get intimate inside of the comfort of a marriage. And we thought, oh, you ain't young enough, you don't know, right? We were like, oh no, that's so outdated. It's so outdated. Hookup culture. I can go on what's the thing? I can go on a dating app, you know, and just hook up with somebody right now. Who's paying the cost? Because I promise you, you're going to pay the cost. You are going to pay the price. Do you know what contraceptives does to the body of a female? Do you know what it does to our body? We're suffering from a lot of things that males don't even know about, right? The minute that you become active, your health risk, the costs of making sure that you have good health are very high. So now you're like, okay, fine, I'll do that and I'll have the good time. Well, that's just the one thing that America has is incredible marketing. They'll sell you something you don't damn need. They'll sell you something you don't fucking need. They'll sell you smoking and also tobacco and alcohol. Those things, they lower testosterone. They make you weaker if you're a man. Go and do your research. They make you weaker as a man. Those things were actually introduced by the other animals, who wanted the other animals not to be strong. Because now, if the other wild animals are strong, they can challenge them, and then they can't have their civilization and what it is that they want. So they had to spike the food, they had to poison the food, they have to give people alcohol, they had to give people smokes, because when a man's testosterone is low, he is in a very stunted space. He is in a sometimes he even gets into a feminine embodiment, and when they're in a feminine embodiment, then now they are not a threat to the lion over there that wants to rule over everything and everyone. So in order for them to rule effectively, they have to weaken all the other men so that there's no competition. It's a political thing, very much a political thing. So you see in this instance now, that illustration I did earlier on of in the jungle there, dude is hunting the girls, like, oh, I just want a good time, you want a good time? She's like, yeah, I want a good time. And then they have the good time, and then after that, his bestial nature comes out, and then he's like, I just left a stranger inside of you, but I hope you'll be fine. Okay, I know that you're not going to be able to survive and hunt for food, and hunt yourself food for the next 9 months, and you're not going to be able to be productive, and you're going to be all low and everything. But tough luck. I have to go. I'm hungry, so I'm going to go hunt something for myself. You'll figure yourself out. And then he leaves you there. The lions and the tigers and the wolves, they'll come. They are going to maul you. They're going to kill you. You're going to die. So in a jungle setup, that's how that type of dynamic would be playing out. To say, ish, why? Because those institutions that were set up to protect the females. Because now, if a female now has, if a male has to actually work to get to that good time, he will not only value it, but he's gonna already care about you on a human level. He's not gonna want to see you suffer. And I mean, he wants his damn children, and he wants his children to succeed in life, because he knows that those children are an extension of him, and they are going to be an improvement of him. So he actually wants that situation with you. But now, if all of those steps were now not taken, you are harming yourself, because you gain nothing from hookup culture. You gain nothing from hooking up with a dude and then carrying on with your life. You will carry the cost. You will carry the cost. Yeah, so the whole point is that her intimacy with Tarzan, it cost her her mental health. It cost her her income. It cost her, because in order for now to fix and sort all of that stuff, it's gonna come at a cost to her. Whether she actually keeps her child or she decides not to keep it, it's going to come at a cost to her. It's going to come at a cost to her. So understand that when you are giving off that essence and that vitality, it's not exactly free. It's not free. And if it's not free to him, it won't be free to somebody is gonna pay. Somebody will pay. If it's not him, it will be you. So you are not doing yourself a favor by saying, oh shit, no, I'm not a gold digger. I'm not a this, I'm not a that. I have people, there's a friend of mine who the other day was watching another clip that I did on WhatsApp. He watched the clip and then he came back. He's like, whoa, I really hear what you're saying, but I think that people are going to struggle with understanding it, because now you're really seeming like someone who is teaching women to be gold diggers. Like, I'm teaching women to be gold diggers. So me personally, I don't give a fuck what people think about me. Like, you can call me whatever it is that you call me, that's fine. But my whole thing is, if I, as a female, me as a woman, I'm saying that marriage was created to protect the woman and the children from the bestial man, or the bestial nature of masculinity. Because now, one of the requirements for a man to be married, he had to be able to get in his celestial nature, which meant that everyone is then going to be protected, and then he will have succession, and he will be able to move forward. So now that bestial nature does not now have a way of, if a man never evolves it and always stays here in the bestial, he would now never have children, or never really have a family, or then that those genes are not the ones that are going into the future. Now we are saying the same thing now, that these ones are the ones that are the problems, the ones that are creating problems. And you'll know it because there are certain black male that will say, these women want to be maintained, women love money, women like money, blah blah blah. And because women like money, they will use your child against you. They don't want to pay child support. They'd rather quit their job so that they don't have to pay you, so that you can raise his kid. right? And they'll say, oh, we also struggled. We also were raised by single mothers. Why do you guys want better? Why do you guys want better? Oh, we grew up with pap and water. Like, because it was okay for them, it must be okay for their kids. Like, there isn't any kind of like evolving, there isn't any kind of evolution there, that okay, because this, I had this situation, I want to do better, and I want to make things a little bit better so that my kids can have better. Because the person who's talking like that, saying, oh, but I had it tough as well, if my kid has it tough, it's not the end of the world, that's not someone who is evolving themselves or their energy or their lives in any way. Yeah. So for that reason, I feel like the idea of marriage now in the Western societies that we exist in is very, it's devoid of meaning and value. It's like just claiming someone and officializing an already there connection. It's like just officializing it, right? And now that now is like, it's, there's no scientific basis to it. It's just like a McDonald's burger. It does nothing for your evolution as a person. It doesn't evolve you anyway. It doesn't improve your health. It does absolutely nothing for you, because within that setup, right? Because now the guy now has now earned his way. He now has the wife. The wife now, because if the wife is in her strong femininity, if the wife is in her feminine embodiment, you must know that this is going to fuel him, meaning that marriage was supposed to be something that strengthens both the man and the woman, because now having that companion means that you guys are two, he's a left foot, you're a right foot, in that he goes out there in the world, he operates and survives out of his bestial nature, right? Of course, it's not easy, but it's definitely easier for them than it is for us, right? Now he comes in here, the woman charges him, right? Charges him, fuels him, right? Energizes him. He goes out into this world and he is a stronger bestial, masculine than the other bestials who are not exactly married. And we know this, and Patrick Montepe is actually Patrice Matipe is an example of that. This now multiplies the man, right? It multiplies him. And we know this because Patrice Matipe was not a millionaire when he met his wife. Mans was not a millionaire. Meaning that there's a kind of a fuel that men receive from a woman's luxury, meaning that a woman comes with a certain kind of essence into the relationship. A man comes with the whole survival thing, which is children, because children come from the vitality of the man, and luck and fortune comes from the vitality of the female. Comes from the vitality of the female. People who do things like sexual magic and whatnot in order to materialize and call things in and bring things in, they understand this. So now, because he got all charged up at home because of this power that he now has, or this advancement that he received, meaning that the wife is actually an asset and not a liability. The enemy has confused you. The enemy has confused you with their wonderful marketing and told you that marriage is a liability and that children are just going to cost you and a wife is actually going to cost you, when a wife is going to multiply you. She will multiply you. So in order for the enemy to keep you weak, not only must he weaken your testosterone, but the values that you hold, the ideas that you hold around the things that improve you and strengthen you, he must dirty that. What romantic comedies have done to relationships is crazy. Feminine power enhances masculine power. Masculine power enhances feminine power. So together they become a force of nature, something that they can't do in their separate spaces, right? And being feminine doesn't mean that now you have to quit your job and depend on your partner, and your partner must buy you everything and do everything, and you have to ask for airtime and all that ridiculous things. It doesn't mean that. You must obviously, it's nice to have your own money. It's nice to have your own things, right? It multiplies you, meaning that his provisional strength, it enhances her, and because she is enhanced, her nurturing strength enhances him, right? Yin and yang working together. So to illustrating it in Patrice Motepe's situation. So now the wife obviously nurtures him, and then in nurturing him, he then grows past the celestial, his bestial, because then you are a celestial masculine with your wife and your children, but you are a bestial masculine outside in the world, which now, because he is amplified and he is doubled and he is enhanced, he becomes just a stronger masculine in the world, right? So he's able to, he's energized, he's able to climb up the corporate ladder, do whatever needs to be done, make all those big deals. He has all of this vigor, right, that then he receives from femininity, the feminine nourishment that then builds his masculine core. The same way that provisional strength gives to a woman's feminine core. A woman who is taken care of radiates. She's beautiful, she's loved, she's everything, and it shows. And because now she can sit in her joy, that now infects the male. The purpose of prayer work is to enhance you, advance you, and for you to build your energetic and your magnetic body. All right, because the stronger it is, the more things you can do. Always know and understand that a man's power is physical and a woman's power is metaphysical, i.e., spiritual. Which is why women are able to do energy work and spiritual work at a rate that is higher than males, right? It's because we have a heart, we have our capacity, our heart chakra is super developed and the sacral is super developed too. So now it means that what we can do with ease, a man will have to effort a lot harder to get into. Now, within a union, whatever upgrades that the woman does and achieves, the man automatically receives them through intimacy. So the more she levels up, the more she advances, the more she evolves, the more she encodes herself, the more she receives activations. These types of things affect him as well, right? He receives them through intimacy, right? Which is obviously another reason why a male will come in being a six-figure earner and then coming out of the relationship after a while, he's now an eight-figure earner, right? He is now receiving, meaning that because it's the woman's work, it's a woman's role to amplify and advance and enhance and nurture and all of these things. A man receives it through the woman. So because he's doing what he's supposed to do as a masculine, opening things up, surviving, securing survival, doing the provisional stuff, she can sit in her energetic, and the more she advances, the more he advances too, because when he comes home, he is going to download and receive all of that electricity, even without having done the energy work. Tell a lot of my clients that there are clients that will worry about their brothers and they'll worry about their husbands. And I'll just simply say, you need to do the energy work. You have the capacity to do it. And you'll be surprised because you are doing it, it's going to infect everybody else around you. I've seen it in my own life, where because I was doing the energy work, everything's going well. My cousins are getting jobs. My everything is opening up for them. My brothers are doing good. My uncles are evolving. Things are opening up. Things are just becoming a little bit different, meaning that it is naturally infectious because feminine energy is nurturing. Think of this, the stomach. The stomach shares with everything, everybody in the body. It's not a thing where they are receiving whatever it is that they're receiving and then that's about it. It shares with the rest of the body. And if you can understand that, that's like 90% of the work. So that's the real value of having a partner in your life. It's so that as you do this king of the jungle shit, and she does the energy work and the spiritual work, you guys are going to advance. In less than 6 months, you guys could be having doubled your earnings, having doubled your everything. You can just multiply all of that. And this is something I know because I've seen it happen over and over and over and over and over again, that the woman does the energy work, it affects everybody in her life. If she's not married, it affects her brothers, her cousins, her sisters, her whatever's, whoever else that she's banging, if she's about that life. And if she is married, the minute she starts doing energy work, the minute she starts doing prayer work, the minute she starts doing healing work, she'll come back and say, oh my God, my husband got this big role. He's an executive now. We can get the house we've always wanted. He's doing this, he's doing that. And mind you, this is a woman who also does her own work on the side. But because now his income just got raised up, their quality of life has improved. Now she has a bigger capacity to do energy work. So one is supposed to hold on to one side, and then the other one is supposed to hang on to another side, and then that's what he's done, right? There are males now where their lives are flourishing because the wives are doing the heavy lifting, because a woman's strength is metaphysical. Like a man could never square off with a woman in that. A man can never go head to head with a witch ever, 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 ever. Oh, the same way that a woman can never ever square off with a man physically. We cannot fight men even if we wanted to. We can't. They're just physically stronger. And like you cannot as a woman fight a bestial masculine or a celestial masculine for that matter. The same way that they could never ever ever touch you spiritually. So yes, energy work and prayer work, it can help you. It can take you from the stunted feminine, the masculine embodied woman, and then take you to the feminine embodied woman. So I know that these distinctions, I don't want the non-binary people to feel polarized by all of these things. Even within the gay communities, there's always a top and a bottom. So that tells me that there is a masculine and a feminine there, because masculinity is dominance. One dominates, one leads, and then the other one, the bottom, that now is the nurturing role, the nurturer, right? The one who expands, but from an energetic point of view, right? So energy work and prayer work can help you build that up and get you up. The other thing that I noticed here with this particular, the last client, when she said, I blocked him, let me go find it. Where is it? When she said, I blocked him, he's not making effort at all, not even to check how I'm doing or what I've decided, nothing. If there's one thing I don't have time for, a man who acts up, blah, 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 I have enough stress, I don't need this. So that to me felt like she is an anxious attachment style, because And I know this because I've struggled with it myself, and I had to do the energy work to go from being an anxious attachment to a secure attachment. So the anxious attachment, if a person is not responding, a person is taking forever to respond, your mind goes to the worst case scenario. You're thinking they don't want to talk to you. You're thinking, oh, I'm blocked. You are thinking, oh, I'm being ghosted. You're going to the worst case scenario because the anxious attachment is basically it's almost like a top layer of abandonment, childhood abandonment issues, child abandonment scars, and abandonment issues, right? If you have abandonment scars or rejection wounds, yeah, abandonment scars or rejection wounds, they either make you an anxious attachment where you become anxious when you feel like you're about to receive something of human interaction and you are scared that you're going to lose it, right? So you get anxious. And then there's the avoidant attachment. So, how avoidant attachments, they also have rejection scars and abandonment wounds, but how they respond is they withdraw, they go in, right? They withdraw. It's not like the anxious that lashes out. It's like, oh, you don't care about me. So I had to sort of like work on that. Energy work can help you to overcome that, where you can be secure. Like you can be secure in that people are busy. Because I feel like as a woman, I feel particularly with me, I had to sit down with myself and say, okay, so I'm saying that I want to be able to deal. If you want to deal with a partner who's got his shit together, he's got his life together, he's busy, he's doing things, he's moving in life and he's living a life that he loves, that person will not be on his phone all day, every day. There is no, even I can't be on my phone all day, every day. And I work on the phone, mind you. I work on the phone. I do my consultations that way. I send links. People send me information. I do divination. I send it to them. But even I can't be there all the time. So this now goes back to the, of course, you want a person to be busy. You want your person to be busy because that's the only way that you know that you're not dealing with a feminine embodied masculine. You're not dealing with a stunted masculine. You're not dealing with a bestial masculine. You're dealing with a celestial one who is able to work with universal providence in his life for others, provide for others, for himself, and having that provisional strength means that yours is not going to land flat on the ground. You are not doing prayer work to manifest a yacht, right? You are not doing prayer work to manifest a boat by the sea, okay? You are doing energy work so that you have solid foundations and your quality of life improves. Because once your quality of life improves, you're going to be able to rally up the resources to buy that boat, that yacht for yourself, and live in Landuno and Cape Town, live your beautiful life. Okay, so you are doing the energy work to improve your quality of life, and when your quality of life improves, the experiences that you come across, they improve as well. Yeah, so as a male, if your woman is militant, if your woman is militant with spiritual things, that is going to automatically upgrade you. That makes her an asset and not a liability, because now that charge and that electricity, every time she levels up, you will also receive those updates as well, because you are within her vicinity. You are around her. It will affect you. It will touch you. It will reach you. Which is why for a lot of married men, they still succeed. They do really great. But the people who are doing the spiritual work, the energy work, are really the women in their lives, right? The same way that as a woman, I'm benefiting from you being wealthy because, say, we're living in a really wonderful house, right? We go on really beautiful holidays and vacations and whatnot. That's your power. That's your strength. That's your strength. That's your money, right? The same way that the reverse is true as well. That all of the stuff that's happening with the energy work and whatnot, this is stuff that she's doing, but she is able to share it with you energetically because now you get those upgrades and you go out in the world and you slay. So being able to share and transmit and transfer energy like that. Yeah, so with that being said, you're now seeing how these two things feed each other, they nourish each other, they build each other. I had a friend who watched one of the clips, watched one of the videos because I was promoting on WhatsApp. And this friend was like, yeah, no, the stuff is real. The stuff is real. He's like, I can hear what you're saying, but I wonder if people are ready for it. People are going to, accuse you of teaching women how to be gold diggers, and saying that you are promoting gold diggerism because you're telling them that they need to pick men with provisional strength. So me personally, I don't give a shit what people think of me. A person can call me whatever they want to call me. But my thing is this: if I am a person who I'm doing all of this energy work, I'm doing all of this prayer work, I keep advancing myself, I just want to keep improving, and I just want my life to be moving from level to level to level to level. I sure as hell know that my essence and my I sure as hell know that my essence and my vitality is worth something. It's worth something. You are not going to just be recharged, right? It is worth something. That electricity is going to do something to you. It is going to uplift you. It is going to give you love. It is going to elevate you, because that's what the fuck I'm about. Now, I can make a choice. I can choose that, do I give this vitality to Tabang here? Tabang, who is going to take this vitality and he is going to go and play video games with it. Yeah, he's going to take that fuel and he's going to play video games with it. Or he's going to go on TikTok and do a red pill video content asking women what they bring to the table, and that he's the prize, and that woman ain't shit, and that, this and that, they need to go 50-50, this and that and that and that. I could give it to him, right? Or I could give it to Bob here on the other side. Bob, who is a business person, he's creating work, he's going out every day, he's pushing, he's making the world a better place for himself and for other people. Therefore, I know that if I've energized him with my electricity, he's not going to go and waste it. He's not going to take it and go play video games with it. So now, if you are then saying, okay, so there are these masculine indicators that I'm then shopping for to see that, am I engaging this or not, where you're like, okay, fine, I can see that the solar plexus, right, the adrenal gland is strong, because I'm dealing here with a person who is in touch with his adrenaline. He's got things that he's doing that show that there's adrenaline there. Let's say he's an adventure rider, or he's parachuting, or he's got all of these hobbies that build this, right? And it tells me that he's ambitious, because this is a place of ambition, right? Then I go back down to the root, and then I see there that, oh, okay, this person is about his work. You go through his social media, it's about his work. This person is like, I'm working, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. He is busy. So he's masculine, he is busy, he is in the jungle. He's in the jungle being a man. So then that lets you know that, okay, so I'm dealing with a masculine embodied man, right? And now you looking for those indicators, you're like, okay, fine. And then so he actually can step in and be in his celestial nature, because then that provisional strength is definitely going to mean that my power and my energy here is not going to be wasted, because he's going to go out into the world and make the world a better place. He's going to create jobs for other people with whatever his exploits are. So I am making the world a better place. I am making the world a better place for myself. So now, yes, I do tell women, I do tell them. And the only people who won't like my message are the feminine embodied males or the standard males. They'll just feel like, oh no, you are just this and that and that. You are materialistic. You are this, you are that. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. I'm just saying you need to do better. You need to do better. You need to do better, because you heard that case study of the woman who was left stranded here. She needs to see what she does. That's not nice for any child. It's not fair on any child. So me picking someone who is strong in his masculine means that I am choosing or picking a father for those children who will actually be able, that father that they'll be proud of. Children love their fathers, right? So if you are able to choose for him, one, you better choose one that definitely can bring it with the provisional strength. Because if I'm going to be strong in my metaphysical and in my spiritual sphere, you better be strong in the provisional one. You better fucking be strong. It's a requirement. It's a requirement. You can call me names, you can call me materialistic, you can call me whatever. I did not come to this planet to suffer. I did not come to this planet to suffer. I am sorry. I am so sorry. So if someone then listens to these messages and like, oh no, that's not virtuous, that's not what, that's not this, that's not that. Listen, if you have spiritual tools, you have spiritual understanding, you have all this knowledge, and that knowledge is not making your life better, waste of time. It's a waste of time, because all of these resources are supposed to improve your life. Those things are supposed to improve your life. They're supposed to make your life better. They're supposed to make your experience here in the physical, here in your meat suit. You're supposed to be enjoying yourself. You're supposed to be having these beautiful experiences. And if you are not, then you're just kidding yourself. So me, I don't care. Call me whenever it is that you want. But I'm not going to waste my essence, especially if I see that you're a stunted masculine. You're a feminine embodied masculine, because then you're just going to take from me. You're just going to take. You've got nothing really to offer. You're just going to take, leech. And if I am advancing and I'm procreating with a man who is strong in his masculine, I give those children a fighting chance. They will survive. They will survive. And I'm expanding somebody who is comfortable in their bestial nature is healthy. Their celestial nature is healthy. So therefore, the children are going to be fine. So I'm not really concerned with that. I think that it's also another reason why I like the long form content, so that these things can be explained properly, because I don't want people taking the things that I'm saying out of context, because it can easily sound self-serving, where you are just thinking about what it is that you want or what it is that that's gonna benefit you. But you know that with that you're asking for, you are the reciprocal of it. You are the reciprocal of it. Meaning it's not a win-lose situation. It's a win-win situation. It's a win-win situation. A masculine embodied male benefits from a feminine embodied woman. They nourish each other, they strengthen each other, they build each other, they enhance each other, they advance each other, which is how the natural design of things is and how it's supposed to be. So if I'm going to be strong in my femininity, I'd love for you to be strong in your masculinity. It's only fair. It's only fair. Yeah. And then the last thing I have here in my notes for today, I had a friend on WhatsApp who he was like, yo, I'd really like to learn how to be able to leverage the power of the Ankh, right? Or the energy of the Ankh to improve my businesses, right? And my life. And I respect men who talk like that because that's a person, that's a Tarzan who's not resting in his laurels. He's not sitting back and waiting for the government to fix problems, for the government to do. He's going out there and he's saying, what is it that I can do? How can I improve my experiences? How can I improve my finances? How can I boost myself up? Right? So he's very much in his masculine because you can see that that question means that I'm about my business. I will put my business first over and above everything. So that lets you know that that man is very much in his provisional strength. Very much in his provisional strength, right? Masculine embodiment. So, um, yeah, I made notes of the tips I wanted to give or how he can then do that. So I wrote here, men are able to access the Ankh without a woman. It's how rainmaking rituals are possible. You know, you don't always have to do it through the womb. You are able to access source consciousness and divinity even without a womb yourself as a man. And it's how rainmaking rituals are possible. So all of this here is just going to guide you onto how you can do that to enhance and amplify yourself in your life. Um, yeah, so for you as a man, this energy is not coming from the womb because you're not so much in your feeling place, which is your body, right? Embodiment is quite feminine, but as a man, you manifest from the mind, right? You have mind, and your mind links you with universal providence. Your mind links you with source consciousness. So what we're talking about there is we're talking about your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, right? So you would want to manifest the Neville Goddard way, right? The Neville Goddard way, which when he talks about living in the end. So the whole living in the end thing, it's this whole thing of you are in the end of what it is that you are wanting, right? And you are able to sit in it long enough for it to take shape. Why? Because for anything to change, any reflection to change, the energy around it has to change first. So you would then have to use manifestation powers the way Neville Goddard did. He focused his mind. He focused his mind to effectively move providence in his life, right? Moving providence with his mind. So you anyway do use the Ankh when you pray, when you take care of family, when you call your mother, when you call your sister, when you do whatever, you're already working with that with Ankh energy because Ankh energy just means feminine energy, right? We all have feminine and masculine. So whenever you are in the feminine, which is a place of nurturing, nourishing spirituality, you are working with the Ankh, you are working with feminine energy. Anything that is feminine, you're already working with that Ankh energy in your life. So it doesn't have to be a thing of, oh my God, I need to get a womb. I need to have a womb so I can move forward in life. There are other ways of moving that energy around. The stuff I was talking about is just how people circulate that energy inside of a marriage setup, but there are other ways that people can do that. So, so first you would want to set your goal. Set your goal first. So, i.e., if the target is 5 high-earning clients for 5 big sales in the year, in order for you to reach your goals, that would then be your financial goal. That would then be it. That, okay, I need to be able to get 5 high-earning sales. I want to be able to close 5 sales, right? So, living in the end for you would mean sitting in the closed deals. You have to sit in the closed deals. So, you want to do this 10 minutes in the morning and also do it 10 minutes at night before you go to sleep. So, it's a simple process. Lie on your back, couch or bed, because then that's when we are the most relaxed. We're relying on our backs, right? Lie on your back, look to the store, to the sky. What you want to do in that time is you are zooming into the reality where you easily close 5 big sales every 6 months consistently, like you have the Midas touch, right? You have that Midas touch. It's just happening and you're doing it easily. You're in that reality. What does it feel like? What does it look like? What does it taste like? How do people treat you? How do people interact you in that space? It's like you're going to that reality. How are people treating you? You are playing that role. You are in that role. Everyone just knows you that you're that one. He has a Midas touch. We don't know why, but he's just always getting all the big sales. He closes them quickly in the shortest amount of time. People know that you're the person for the job because you do it so easily and it comes naturally to you. Now you want to sit in that space for a good 10 minutes. You sit there 10 minutes in the morning and then you sit again 10 minutes at night before you go to sleep. What you're doing is you are shifting it in your mind, right? Because you want it to shift in your energetic so that it can shift in your physical as well. So you are using the law of cause and effect. You are using the law of cause and effect, which means that what hardens in your spirit soon reflects physically as outcomes and circumstances. So you are using the law of cause and effect, which then lets you know that something needs to harden energetically, spiritually, before it reflects physically, right? So it needs to be hard up here, and then it will then begin to reflect in the physical world. So now every single time you go there in the wish fulfilled, you are creating that build up, creating that build up, creating that build up. It becomes more and more natural. Understand that the subconscious is the seat of habit. It's the seat of habit, right? So the things that move into the subconscious mind are the things that we do habitually every single day. If you're going to the gym every day, it becomes habitual. If you are doing a certain thing every day, it becomes habitual. If you're eating coffee or drinking coffee every day, it becomes habitual. So then your mind starts doing it automatically without any conscious effort from you. So that's why you need to be able to do it daily so that it becomes part of your habit to go there. And this is what then adjusts your signal. Remember that you shift first, and then your reflections show you that you've shifted, right? So it must take hold in your energy first, right? The more you go there, the more solid the buildup becomes in your energetic body. So you don't need to do this for hours. There's no point for you to do it hours and hours and hours. 10 minutes is good. Set a 10-minute timer, do it for a good 10 minutes, carry on with your life. You woke up 10 minutes earlier so you can do it. And then before you go to bed, set a 10-minute timer, do it as well, and then go to bed afterwards. It's fine. It's not something you have to do for hours and hours and hours, because it just has to sit in your subconscious. It just has to be like a pattern. Now, what then happens, the things that are then going to start happening to let you know that, okay, so I'm doing this correctly. You start identifying as a person who easily closes big sales in the shortest amount of time. It becomes part of your brand. It becomes part of your brand and how people see and experience you. People start feeling that energy off of you when you are around them. They just see you that way and they feel that way about you, right? Because it's coming off of you. It's just radiating to you, right? It's in your auric field, right? Providence moves things around in such a way that high earning individuals seeking what you offer keep finding you and coming to you. So we've spoken about providence extensively in other videos, where it's just this whole concept that the things that match you find you. So now, because this is who you are, the people who are seeking what it is that you are offering, they will gravitate to you naturally. They will be drawn to you naturally. They'll be attracted to you. They will want you. They will want you. They will want what you offer. They just feel like this is the guy for the job. This is the person, right? And then you then embody that, and then that's how it starts reflecting out that you are just known as, oh, that one easily closes 5 sales, easily. And if you want someone who can do it at that pace, that person is your guy. It just, the universe begins to reflect to you this thing that you hardened in your spirit body. So, sitting in the wish fulfilled 20 minutes each day makes it habitual. So, it moves from the waking mind to the subconscious mind. And you'll know you're doing it correctly because you're going to feel good. You're supposed to feel excited. You're supposed to feel like energized after doing it. Like, because it feels so good to be that guy. It feels so good to be that guy. And everyone just knows that, oh, whatever you tell, you have the Midas touch. You have this, you have that, you have, right? So you'll know you're doing it well when you come out of each 10-minute session feeling good, feeling excited, feeling invigorated. New ideas and people will keep locating you, right? So that's the process. That's it, of how you can then leverage the power of the Ankh in your life, which is then leveraging or working with feminine power or feminine essence in your life. You don't really need a physical womb for that. This is how you can do it. Just doing some energy work in your life is how you step into that place. So, Azani, that's all we've got for today's talk. I hope this nourishes you. I hope it adds value in your life. So we're gonna do one video every single week, so it's nice and long. So y'all are not gonna miss me, y'all. I'm gonna do one video every single week. The next one will be next week. So yeah, please support this platform. You can support the platform by subscribing, liking, drop me a comment. Drop me a comment in the comments there. This helps to boost the algorithm. I will respond to every single one. You can also tell me about things you'd like us to explore or topics you'd like us to do a deep dive on. What do you want to hear? What do you want to talk about? What do you want me to do a presentation about? Thank you to everybody who supports this channel, who shares the videos, who comments, who likes. That helps us to grow. It helps us to grow. And yeah, this is a platform that is just, to add value. Like, that's what we want to do. We want to improve our own lives, improve whoever else's life is doing prayer work in their lives, and we come here to hold each other accountable. And I'm hoping that the comment section will become a place where us and other like-minded people get to interact, get to talk, get to meet, get to connect. So I'm really hoping that with time we can build a community around people who are doing that energy work in their lives to improve the quality of their lives. So this is all I have for today, and yeah, I will see you in the next video.